Okay, welcome back to the Panic Button. Pooh. Welcome back to the Panic Button podcast. I'm Nina. We're doing it solo today, and we're going to react to some shorts.
Happening today, obviously we have some black people that are just shouting in the back. We have some black people that are sitting in the front quietly that are chanting USA and having a normal conversation. You're going to hear it in this room first. Okay. There's an ideological civil war happening. Black people that are focused on their past and shouting about slavery, and black people that are focused on their futures. Okay, I can guarantee you what you're seeing happening is victim mentality versus victor mentality.
That's
I promise
great,
you.
by the way.
I can tell you right now who is going to be better off when we look 20 years and we look at the faces in this room. Who is going to be better off are the girls that are sitting right here and across this room, because they don't have your mentality. Victim mentality is not cool. I don't know why people like being oppressed. It's the weirdest thing I've ever heard. I love oppression. We're oppressed. 400 years of slavery, Jim Crow, which, by the way, none of you guys lived through. Your grandparents did, and it's embarrassing. You utilize their history, and you come in here with more emotion than they ever had when they were living through it. More emotion than they ever had when they were living through it. It's embarrassing. You're not living through anything right now. You're overly privileged Americans. It's what's going on right now.
Well, I can't say that she's wrong, because it's definitely true. Gen Zers today, man, all they think about is me, narcissism. It's all about them, always. They're oppressed, they're victims, but they're not victims, because they're able to speak and yell and scream at people who don't believe that they're victims. The whole thing with the victim mentality, and she's telling it like it is. Because when you act like a victim and believe that you're being victimized and oppressed, that just makes you lazy. You don't do anything. You don't work. You don't work towards anything. The only thing you work towards is yelling at people. How do I say this? They scream at people as if that's going to get the other side to listen to their bullshit. If you don't show respect, why would you think you have the right to receive it? These people are just fucking bonkers. Bonkers, crazy victims. And the one thing I know about being a victim is you don't get successful by playing the victim. Next one.
Nobody had heard of any of this until about March 2020, when Dylan Mulvaney decided that he was actually a woman. Now he has about 8 million followers on TikTok, was featured by Forbes at their Power Women's Summit, and has a series of contracts with makeup companies, including ad deals with CeraVe, MAC, Neutrogena, and Kate Spade. That's right, men are so unbelievable at being women that one can say he is a woman and become one of the most influential women in America in just 6 months of wearing dresses and ironing his hair. The patriarchy always wins. Person, this fellow Mulvaney, he began to document his attempt to become a woman in a series that he dubbed Days of Girlhood. Day 1 featured Mulvaney explaining that he had cried 3 times, had told someone he was fine when he wasn't, and had ordered clothes that had cost too much money. All hallmarks of being a girl, according to him. It's not sexist at all if he says it. That's just what being a woman is, right? Crying too much and fibbing to your friends and spending too much money on clothes. That's what women do. See, if I say that, that's an ugly stereotype about women. But if I say I'm a woman, then I have the authority to speak about these ugly stereotypes and pretend that they actually apply.
That's very, 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 very true. See, as a lesbian, being technically in the LGBTQ yada, yada, yada space, the Dylan Mulvaney thing, he's in a constant Halloween costume. I think it's absolutely abhorrent that a man, boy, whatever the fuck he is, can decide he's going to be a woman, do all the stereotypical things that he thinks women do, and now he is the face for women. He's the spokesperson for women. What really blew my fucking mind is when Tampax wanted to support him. Sorry. I'm not sorry. There's no way in fucking hell that this is logical or right to have someone who's only 200-something days into girlhood dressing like a woman face is going to be the mascot for tampons? Where does he put his tampons? In his dick hole? Does he bleed out of his dick hole? What is this? This is insane. That person is what we call a clown. Dylan Mulvaney is a clown.
At 31 years old, I say this with love and only the best of intentions. You could have the perfect sandwich, but if there's even just a little bit of in it, it's a sandwich. Don't settle.
There's this whole culture on the internet right now, particularly with young girls and this sort of millennial age girl, that if he is not Prince Charming, if he is not perfect, if he does not love every single bit of everything you do, if you guys argue even once, like, he's out of there. He has to be completely and utterly perfect, accept everything about you, and he has to be as attractive as you want, as intelligent as you want, as funny as you want, as charming as you want. He has to hit every single box. You know how long you're gonna be waiting to find that man? It doesn't exist other than in movies, which maybe it's just movies that they're getting this idea from. You're never going to improve if you just find a man who's like, I love everything about you already and nothing needs to be better. It's going to separate you from even growing as an individual.
Yeah, that's true. The young women of today, they have this entitlement as if they are walking flawless princesses, and they're not. Just because you think you're flawless and you're a princess doesn't mean that you are. You can take a pile of shit and put a princess dress on it, but it doesn't make the pile of shit a princess. That's pretty much what they're doing. You can look nice, you can be pretty, but if you're like a vain, I deserve everything, the person I'm with can do no wrong type of person, bitch, you're gonna be alone forever. And I hope you are, because you're being an asshole. Next.
You said you think we should kill rapists.
I believe that rapists who go so far as to abuse a woman deserve capital punishment, yes.
We should protect innocent life, but the rapist is not innocent.
Yes. You believe we should kill the children. We believe the rapist should be killed. You believe in the death penalty for the baby. We believe in it for the rapist, yes.
I believe,
and I stand very proud on that.
Going under the medical procedure of terminating,
murdering a child,
whatever, is much different than killing.
You're using a lot of euphemisms. When you said fetus, that's a Latin word. It means baby. And when you said abortion, it's a euphemism for the unjustified taking of human life. So you can speak with as much clarity as you want. But you're arguing that the products of rape should be executed.
We're arguing that it's up to the mother, because at that point, for the next 9 months, the mother's going to be carrying the child.
Carrying a what?
Carrying a what? The child. The child. Okay. That's what I think she said, carrying the child, didn't she?
She did.
Okay. So when it comes to abortion, it's a very sticky situation for me. I don't have a good grasp on what my opinion is for that. I will say that I am somewhat pro-choice. But this one dude in this video, the black dude who was talking, pretty much defending rapists. Dude, where the fuck are you? Where's your mind? Now, I will say this. These guys who were saying, well, we deserve to put the rapist to death. Agreed. Absolutely agreed. I don't think there's anything wrong with that. I think the same thing about P words. You know, adults who like children. I also think that they should be put to death. I don't think there's anything wrong with that. As far as the whole baby thing goes, fetus, whatever. It's a sticky situation because with women, okay, let's get into it. I'll get into it with you. So my last girlfriend, she had been raped 4 times, gotten pregnant all 4 times, and had abortions all 4 times. The last one, I took her to get an abortion. We'd only known each other for 2 weeks. I was in my early 30s, like 30, and the problem with girls is sometimes we get way too obsessive, but we think it's in love, right? And so we look at our partner as flawless, can do no wrong. So when I asked her, well, how did this happen again and again and again? You know, she had explanations, but it was really hard to not see them as excuses, because how can you put yourself back in these situations over and over and over and over again and expect to still be the victim? Now, when it comes down to it, women need to know that there are certain places you shouldn't be, certain places you shouldn't go alone, et cetera, to keep yourself safe, okay? Women don't do that. They think that they can take on a man if a man attacks them, et cetera. But that's not how it works. You have to keep yourself safe. And if you're going to keep putting yourself in situations around people who you say you trust, because she always said they were my best friends, I trusted them. Well, after they put shit in your drink, you passed out, and then they you, and then you got pregnant and had an abortion. Like, well, where do you take accountability for your actions? You know? I mean, we gotta think about this. This is not, don't put yourself in bad situations, and the bad shit won't happen to you majority of the time. Last one.
If somebody commits a sexual assault, the only person to blame is the person who commits the sexual assault, right? That right off the bat. Right? Victims are not to blame for their own sexual assault. I also think that if you put yourself in a risky situation, then you've put yourself in a risky situation, right? We do this every day, right? Every day we make decisions about what sort of situations to put ourselves in. If I walk through a high crime neighborhood waving $100 bills above my head and then I am robbed, then it is the fault of the person who robs me. It is not my fault, but I also made a bad decision to do that.
Yes.
Okay, so two things can be true at once. And it is not blaming the victim to say that it's a bad decision to walk through a high crime neighborhood at night waving your wallet over your head.
Yeah.
Right? It is also not a good idea to go to parties where drinking and drugs are commonplace with a bunch of guys who are pigs.
Yes.
Right? That's just not a good idea. Now, does that relieve responsibility from the guys? 100% not. If a guy rapes you or sexually assaults you, he should be castrated or killed.
Exactly. I say the same thing for the P words. Exactly the same thing. It's not blaming the victim, but at some point that victim who keeps putting themselves in dangerous situations has to take some of that fucking fault. Or else you're just going to keep having the same thing happen to you over and over and over and over and over again. And if you're not taking any responsibility and you keep putting yourself in these bad situations, like at what point is it your fault in some sense of the word? You know, they're horrible people. They should be castrated. Abso-fucking-lutely. But don't fucking hang around. If you know your judgment is bad with people, maybe don't be around those people. Like and subscribe.